What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Voice Center podcast. It's your guy Marno Jorge, and I'm with Joe Miranda. Joe, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Terrible, man. This internet's terrible. It's literally stinking up, but we'll try to get
Honestly.
through it. But yeah, let's talk about the like I said, man. It's getting tight. Next week is a play-in tournament. May 18th is when it officially starts with the play-in, so it is getting intense in terms of like who the teams are gonna be there. And I think for the first time, man, like usually like we turn on like the casual fan, like it usually turns on because you don't watch as many games as you kind of know who's gonna head into the playoffs. Now you gotta kind of watch every single game because every single game from this point on is a playoff game, and then it's gonna
Yeah.
determine where you're gonna be seating wise. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy to watch and see like how it's just like the playoff implications are insane. So let's talk about the Lakers, and we know the struggle that has been the Lakers. Even since LeBron has gotten hurt. Obviously before LeBron and AD got hurt, the Lakers were a top three seed. Now, ever since LeBron and AD have gotten hurt, the Lakers have been skidding. And then yesterday they lost against the Blazers, a close one. Anthony Davis really played. He played well, but aside from Anthony Davis, no one could really show up for the Lakers. So in terms of like the Lakers and so and stuff like that, man, if you were a Lakers fan, in terms of like a 1 to 10, in terms of a panic meter, where would you be if you were a Lakers fan?
Honestly, I'd be like at 7 or 8
7 or 8 at
because,
best.
yeah, at best.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Yeah. Yeah. So like in terms of like the concerns and so on and stuff like that, in terms of injury, and I know some Laker fans are kind of like, look, all we gotta do, you just gotta get healthy and so on and stuff like that. I'm kind of worried that the getting healthy scenario, like I said, while it's great, you're not gonna have that built-on chemistry with, obviously Andre Drummond, and then Dennis Schroeder has the COVID health and safety protocol, so he's not gonna be back until like the 17th or 18th. That's when he's expected to come back. And then you still got to worry about Anthony Davis and his injuries. And then Andre Drummond, how
Yeah.
are you gonna fit him in with specifically going with the fact that Marc Gasol has been playing better than Andre Drummond? And then you still got Montreal. Like I said, their depth in terms of bigs, it's a luxury to have, but you also got to pay a little bit of a price. And then you have their guard rotation. THT's been hurt for them as well. Caruso is coming back from injury. KCP's been there. Wesley Matthews have been struggling with injuries. Like it's been a boatload of things going on with the Lakers in terms of where they're gonna be ultimately. But hey man, I mean we could really see a Lakers versus Warriors play-in matchup.
Yeah.
So
That's what I've been thinking.
yeah, so in terms of let me ask you this, man, in terms of LeBron and AD LeBron, well, it's really now LeBron comes back and then they face the Warriors in a 1 game or 2 game series, man. Who are you taking?
I'm obviously taking the Lakers. Like, not gonna lie, it's gonna be a tight one. But if LeBron and AD are there, they should be able to beat them.
Yeah, but hey, that man Steph Curry though, man. You
I
know
know,
you know how
I
much
know,
damage he be setting
I know.
up,
But
man.
it's Steph Curry and who else? Like,
Yeah, that's
the
that's
team
what's
doesn't show up. He's
Andrew.
screwed.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins is like their second best scorer, for them. For it's like it's really a 10 point drop off because I think Steph is averaging
31,
one.
I think.
31, 32. Yeah, him and Bradley Beal
Yeah.
like racing for the scoring title right now. But yeah, Andrew Wiggins is a solid player. I know some people, calling Andrew Wiggins a bust and so stuff like that. You can say all that, but Andrew Wiggins, he's one of their best defenders. Obviously he's their second leading scorer. For a reason. He's solid. That's what you have to label Andrew Wiggins. Like he's solid, and people have not accepted that from him yet. Like they've been wanting more and more from him. But nah, man. I mean, man, because like I said, it's not going to be easy, man. This ain't last year where they
Hmm.
just blow the doors through
Yeah.
everybody and they was just easy for them. Now you could potentially see Utah or Phoenix in the first round. If you get through them, then you potentially have to face the Clippers or the Nuggets. Like that. That's how tough it is
Nah, bro.
for the Lakers because like that's how crazy it is, man. Because that's how I mean, man, it's really interesting. It's really interesting because it there's a lot of playoff implications right now. Like it's just man. Ultimately, obviously, do you still think that the Lakers are going to win the chip, even when LeBron comes back, or do you,
I'm having my doubts now. Like I don't really see it happening as much. Not anymore. Like after all these injuries, I don't know if that's gonna be the same.
yeah. And LeBron was saying like he probably shouldn't have said I won't ever be 100%. Obviously he could
Yeah.
have said like I'm not gonna be. Well, I don't. He could probably rephrase it as obviously. Yeah, I would say like don't say anything about your injury because it's not good to
Yeah.
like really point it out to the public. But obviously everyone knows that when LeBron comes back, he's not gonna come back. He's not gonna come back 100%. So
Yeah.
you gotta take with what you have and you gotta write it. But yeah, it's crazy because obviously Portland winning yesterday helped them get a 1 game cushion. The Lakers have dropped 2 games in a row. Like you have more clarity up top in the 1 through 4, but then the 5 through 10, it's a battle. It's a battle for
Mm-hmm.
and I think so. In terms of the play-in, man, do you have any problem with? Do you think that the seventh should be taken away and this should be like 8 through 10? Like, how do you think if they're really gonna like have this play-in for the future? Like, do you think it should still be 7 through 10, or do you think it should be 8 through 10?
I'd say 8 through 10 because I mean that'd be a lot of games to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. I'm trying to. Yeah, I'm pausing right now because I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think if you're the seventh, like you kind of earned, so stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
if you're the seventh seed, I think you should be there. I think it should just be 8 through 10, and then 9 through 10, 9 and 10 battle it out, and whoever wins that one faces the 8th seed. I think that's how they should
Yeah.
do it. Because I don't think the seventh seed should if you are the seventh seed, you made the playoffs. I think you done your due diligence. I think they got to fix that aspect of it. But I do think, 8 through 10 and so on and stuff like that. I think that should really they should really fix it up. But hey, it's a wow. It's getting crazy, crazy, crazy right now. And then there's a big
Yeah.
game tomorrow. The Heat and Celtics are gonna play, and the Heat have a 1 game lead ahead of the Celtics right now. So it's a big game for both teams
Sure.
in terms of how I suggest you watch that game. It's nationally televised, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be a good one tomorrow. And the Knicks got a big game against the Clippers too. The Knicks had lost 2 games in a row and they gotten blown out, man. It was the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic had 24 in the first quarter alone. And then the Suns blew him out yesterday. It's, the Knicks are starting to slide. And the Hawks are starting to pick up steam. Because now it's just a one
Yeah.
game, it's just one more loss for them, and they're tied with the Hawks. So the Knicks had a little bit of a cushion, but they dropped back-to-back games. So it's a big game for
Mm-hmm.
them tomorrow in terms of seeding. So the Hawks win one more game, and they drop to 5, and then Miami. If Miami wins, like they could drop to 7, pretty much, if they don't win tomorrow. So it's a big game for both the Heat, the Celtics, the Knicks. While the Clippers already made the playoffs at this point, they're just really preparing and so stuff. Now you kind of get to the East, the 7 through 10. It's Chicago won yesterday against the Celtics. That was a bad loss for the Celtics, man. Jason Tatum struggled. Kemba played very well, but no one else really showed up. And obviously, you know how I am with the Celtics, man, that I believe they should have gotten Miles Turner. Obviously, their roster construction and their depth chart has not been great. So, the Boston Celtics, that was really a bad loss for the Celtics yesterday. For the Chicago Bulls, they're still 3 games behind the Wizards. For at this point, if they really want to make noise, they have to win the rest of their games. If they drop their next one, then most likely they might not make the play-in scenario. But yeah, give me your take on the Celtics, man. Like, you think that, despite, I know there's been a lot going on with them throughout the season with no ups and downs, injuries, health and safety protocols. Like, do you still think that the Celtics legitimately, like, can they get out of that play-in scenario and get into like higher seeding?
I mean, if they can pick it up, then yes, they can. They can go up. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
You got the talent though, but it just
Yeah,
just
it's not working. I don't know.
listen. And then they're one of the top ISO teams. Because so
Yeah.
Marcus Smart pretty much has to be their facilitator. Because Kemba's like a scoring guard. Like, Kemba is not really
Hmm.
a guy that's gonna play make. He'll have 10 assists probably one game, but it's not consistent playmaking that you're getting. And
Yeah.
then Robert Williams, who is shooting 71% from the paint, like one of their bigs, he's been out for a minute, so they don't know when he's gonna come back. So then you have, and then you traded away Daniel Tice, and then you had, obviously you have Tristan Thompson. Man, they got so bad that they had to put in Taco, and they had to put in Taco for the game in Chicago because that's how thin like their depth is in terms of bigs. So they had a chance at getting Andre Drummond. They had a chance at getting Nikola Vucevic. They had a chance of getting those bigs. Obviously, they didn't. They got Evan Fournier. So here we are. And obviously, Evan Fournier, it's just been something, it's just been one thing after another stacking up for the
Yeah.
Celtics. One guy missing Haynes because he's hurt. One guy having health and safety protocols. It's just
Yeah.
crazy, man.
It's crazy.
It's just crazy. And then obviously, you got Miami. And like I said, man, it's a big game tomorrow. Like, I still can't get over the fact, like, it's a big game tomorrow because that kind of gives you like a one game cushion, and then you can kind of build on
Hmm.
from there. Like, every game from here pretty much is a playoff game, man. Like, you drop a game and you can be in the playing scenario, or you win a couple games and you can be a fourth seed. Like, that's how close it is, right?
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. Washington.
Man.
True, man. I mean, if you're in the East, man, you don't want to see the Washington Wizards and Russ and that Bradley Beal show. I mean, you don't want to see none of those. You don't want to see Russ and Bradley Beal now. You don't want to see those guys. Even though they are playing better than they were, well, even though they are better than what, because you remember, man, like, especially the first half of the season, oh, it was bad. It was bad, man. It
Yeah.
was bad. Their defense was so bad
I
they
think that
couldn't
there was.
stop anybody.
Yeah.
That's how bad
Yeah.
the defense was, man. The defense was really bad at one point. But like I said, they went on a
Now they
winning
got a
streak.
chance.
Yeah, they have a chance. I mean, they went on a winning streak, but they're still the 10th seed. That's the issue. Now, I think they're gonna be the ninth seed, though. I do think they're gonna be the ninth seed because I don't know if you heard, man, but the Pacers got some problems right now. They got some problems going on with them right now. It's been kind of, it's been ever since Nate McMillan got
Uh,
fired, man, it's been a disaster up there in Indiana. So I don't know what's going on with them. So they might drop to the 10th spot, and then Washington might win a game to put into ninth. Shoot, man. I mean, man, you don't want to see none of these teams, man. I know the Celtics have been struggling, but you kind of don't want to see Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, and Kemba. And then you have Washington with Russ and Bradley Beal. And then Charlotte, LaMelo has been back for
yeah.
a couple games. And, like, man, it's really interesting, man. Like how you really don't, like I said, in the East it's a little bit easier, but I will give its credit that it's been in better
A lot more
seasons. It's been
competitive.
a lot more competitive than in past seasons. But man, like in terms of man, it's really complicated. It's really complicated, man. Like it's so in terms of pressure, in terms of pressure, man, for the Heat and the Celtics, who have been two teams who have been struggling. Obviously, they both need this win more. But who do you logistically think? Who do you think needs this win a lot more?
I'd say the Celtics really need that more. Yeah. Like they've been struggling, man. Like if they don't figure this out, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Like the Heat, I think they can find a way to make the playoffs, but I don't know about the Celtics, man.
Yeah. Hey, I said never count out Miami. Even though they've been struggling, I said never count out Miami.
Yeah,
They're still always going to be in the
yeah.
mix. Damn, you're right, man. You're right. They dropped a bad one yesterday against Chicago. They dropped one today.
Mhm.
Jason Tatum,
But
that was
that
the
one was
worst.
to win.
That was the worst time for him to have one of his worst games of the season. That was not a good game for him. He struggled. He struggled. So and then it was at times, man, that, like the Celtics were about to come back, but Chicago shut that door down. They logistically they made runs, but they never made a run to the point to where they took the game over. Chicago always had a run left in them. And Zach LaVine, even though he didn't play his best game, obviously because he missed 11 games due to health and safety protocols, they had balanced scoring from other guys. Kobe White, Thad Young, Lauren Markkinen, um, obviously Nikola Vucevic had a triple double. Zach LaVine had 20 plus points. Not shooting well, but overall they had solid balance from other guys that they got. And they got an interesting situation with Lauren Markkinen and how they're gonna handle him in the offseason. Obviously, they're interested in getting Lonzo and so on and stuff like that. So it would be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, man, you're right. It's because man, they could easily get swept against the Bucks. Because if the playoffs
Yeah,
started today, they will obviously be in the play-in, but they are the 7th seed right now. But if they do win a game and they do become the 7th seed, man, they got the Bucks in the first round. So then they already got that
yeah.
scenario,
You
and
don't,
I'm
you
gonna
don't
admit,
want the Bucks right
you
now.
don't. But who's gonna guard Giannis? Considering the fact that like you don't want poor, like you probably Marcus Smart is their best
Oh
defender.
man,
You do have Tatum and Brown, but
but they're not gonna guard him.
ain't nobody gonna. Yeah, there ain't nobody.
And
Look, unless now Giannis has been better shooting the ball. I don't know if you saw me, but they had 2 big games against the Nets and they won. I didn't take much away from it. I didn't say, "Oh, the Bucks always something better than that." So I'm like, first of all, despite the Nets still missing James Harden, they still made it close. But I was really impressed with how well Giannis shot the ball and the confidence that he had in shooting the three. And he shot it at a really high percent. He made about 4 threes. I think in one he made a good percentage. I don't know how many threes he took, but he made a good percentage of threes. Yeah, obviously, man. Do you have any concerns about the Nets being on a 4-game losing streak?
I don't have too many concerns other than the health. Because if honestly, if they bring Harden back and KD's there and Kyrie's there, they shouldn't really have a problem. So I'm not too worried.
Okay, so you're not really worried about them. Everything.
Yeah, not too worried.
Really, just health wise, pretty much is like the
Yeah,
only thing that you might. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I think it's James Harden's value is really showing, man. Because when KD was out and James Harden was playing, they were winning a lot of games. Now James Harden has gotten hurt, and they had not been winning as many games. So James Harden's value is really
yeah.
showing. His value is really showing because Kyrie and KD can get their own, but the thing is, like Kyrie and KD are not really like consistent facilitators.
Yeah, exactly.
James Harden is that consistent facilitator where he can get you, he can get Landry Shamet his shots and Joe Harris his
And they
shots and
called him a ball
other.
hog.
Yeah, he's not a ball hog. I don't know who said that. I get the dribble, shoot, a dribble, pass. But yeah, James Harden was diamond up people. Still, I get it, and so and stuff like that. But he's still diamond up people. So no, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, this playing scenario, man, it's getting intense. It's getting intense because
Mhm.
normally playoff time, okay, they're gonna get swept in the first round. Then it's when the second round is when we really start, kind of looking at things. Now, man,
Mhm.
we gotta watch the games now. Like we can't. Man,
You do
every
not want to miss
game
these games.
from this game forward is important, man. You can't skip any of the games. Like you logistically gotta watch. And the Wizards
Yeah,
and the Pacers are gonna play today. And if Washington wins, they're a game ahead of the Indiana, and they're the ninth seed, and Indy drops to 10. Like
yeah.
that's a big game. And then obviously, like I said, I've already said this for like the third time in a row. The Celtics and the Heat. That's a big game for both teams, but it's probably a bigger game more for
Yeah.
the Celtics now, considering how they've been. Man, it's it just it's crazy.
Sheesh.
It's a lot more happening. Like and we still got a lot of games left. Obviously, not really a lot of games. We got about, I say teams at this point have about 5 or 6 games left to end their season. But every game
Yeah,
from here on out is a playoff game. It is a playoff game from here
very
on out.
important.
It's all important. Memphis, they dropped a bad one against the Pistons on Thursday, so now they're 500. They're the ninth seed right now. San Antonio also dropped a game as well, but they
Yeah.
did end up winning it yesterday. I don't know if you saw this one, but um, Bogdan Bogdanovic had 48 points for Utah. He had 48 yesterday, and yeah,
48?
he showed up, man. He balled.
Dang.
Yeah, he
How
balled
come I didn't see
yesterday.
that?
Yeah, he balled. I don't, obviously, because he's not really a guy that they don't kind of refer to that. Like he balled, man. Bojan Bogdanovic balled.
Damn.
Did I say Bogdan or Boyan? Because I always get them confused somehow. One's in Atlanta and
You
one's in
said
Utah.
Bogdan.
Bogdan, yeah, Bogdan's in Atlanta. Boyan's in Utah. That's
Okay.
that's how they yeah. Boyan,
They sound the same kind of.
yeah, Bojan. Oh my gosh. Okay. Bogdanovich for the Jazz and Bogdanovich for the Hawks. Yes.
Yeah.
Bogdanovich for the Jazz had 48 yesterday. Dude absolutely balled. And Bogdanovich for Atlanta. God, it's just Bogdan Boyan. Okay, Boyan Bogdanovich. I'm probably going to get it messed up again, but Boyan Bogdanovich. Yeah.
Man, they too close.
Yeah. And I don't even think they're related, too. I don't think they're related either.
No.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they might have different last names, maybe, but it's crazy to me how they're not related. But yeah, hey, Miami got a win against the Timberwolves yesterday. The Sixers almost dropped one against the Pelicans. They almost dropped one against and I don't know if you heard, man, but Zion's gonna be out indefinitely. I think his left ring finger. Yeah, I think they found a fracture in there, so he's not gonna play.
Dang.
But yeah, it's a blow.
That's not
It's a
good.
blow. It's a blow. Considering how New Orleans has been disappointing, it is a big blow to see Zion go down. And this is kind of like the second year in a row, man, where he had a major injury and he has to be sidelined for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
The bubble last year and now this year, so I kind of feel for him because he's really been balling this year. He's been balling.
Mhm.
He's been playing really well this year, so it's kind of fortunate to see that. Oh,
He's been averaging like 25 or something.
25, 27. Let me, if I'm not mistaken, let me
Yeah.
check.
Like, that's
Yeah,
really good.
27. He was averaging
That is
27.
really good.
Yeah. Obviously, I don't see the Pelicans really making a. I mean, let me see. Nah, man, I don't see them making
No,
a
I
push.
don't see him.
Nah, I don't see them making a push. San Antonio is gonna be in the 10th spot pretty much, so
Yeah.
they're gonna hold water right now. But yeah, I don't see a major push happening. But yeah,
Especially after losing Zion too. So
yeah, yeah. So we got big games. So we got big games today, man. We got big games. The Wizards and Pacers are playing right now. The Grizzlies are playing the Raptors right now. The Spurs and the Blazers are playing as well. Big game. The Warriors are playing the Thunder again. They beat them. They beat them on Friday. No, they beat them on Thursday. Sorry, they beat them on Thursday. So hey, it's getting down to the wire. It's every game from here on out counts, and the Rockets are facing the Jazz today. I don't. I Unless Kevin Porter Jr. scores 50, you know,
Uh,
no, yeah, I don't see nothing happening. There is low key a battle for the number one seed because the Jazz and Suns are going
yeah,
back at it right now, and the Jazz have been winning games without Donovan Mitchell. So they've been winning games right now, but there is low key a battle for number one seed in the West. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting
man.
to see. Your Boyan Bogdanovic might get another 40 piece. Who knows? But
Sheesh.
who knows? But David Griffin came out with some comments about like how Zion and how one of the reasons of why you know he got injured and stuff like that is how he's officiating, how much he gets to the rim, and the contact and stuff like that. Just give me your reactions to what you heard about David Griffin and how the refs and how they treat the officiating with Zion.
With the refs,
Yeah, with in terms of how they officiate Zion, pretty much.
I mean, that's that's really basketball. Like the refs still make mistakes with any other call, so you can't really just say for one specific player. So
He's averaging. Last year he averaged 7 free throw attempts. This year he's averaging pretty much 9 free throw attempts
yeah,
per
it's even
game.
better.
But yeah, Zion is getting the big man treatment, man. We know this.
Hmm.
Joel Embiid is going through this right now. Shaq went through this. Yao Ming, like all the centers are going through
Yeah,
this right now, man. He's getting that big man treatment because like how do you officiate him? Because knowing the fact that he's so strong and he's getting to the rim and so
yeah.
stuff like that, it's kind of complicated to officiate him. But
Like any contact, it's a foul for him.
yeah, either you're gonna get trucked or you just gotta get out the way because
Yeah.
Zion's coming down the lane. So I don't know. He's unique, and obviously the officiating has not been great. And I'm not saying that every ref, like majority of these refs are probably rookies. That's kind of majority of these refs are kind of rookies. Now the ones that have been around for a long time and are still making BS calls, that's kind of
Mm,
where obviously not a lot of people like Scott Foster. Scott Foster is
yeah.
Scott Foster's gonna
Especially the
officiate
Rockets.
that game. Oh yeah, the Rockets too. Rockets. I don't know
Oh
what
man.
they. I don't know what they did. A couple of seasons ago, but they did something with Scott Foster in terms of his officiating. It was like I don't know what it was. I forgot. Let me look it up. Let me look it up because it was like something that had to deal. Let me see. Uh, yeah, like it was in the bubble last year. It was in the bubble last year, like pretty much like whenever Scott Foster's officiating, like you have a worse record when he officiates, pretty
Oh
much.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what they had here. So, yeah, not a lot of people. Yeah, it's because if Scott Foster's officiating your game, then you're kind of
Hmm.
screwed. You're kind of screwed. So
And you
whenever
can't talk. You can't
oh
talk
yeah, you
about it.
can't talk to him because he acts like he's the best. All like he's acts like he's undefeated. You can't you can't even though he's made a bad call. Like where what I appreciate about some refs is that some refs will know when they made a mistake because I know because they're human beings just like us. We make mistakes all the time.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
what I appreciate about some refs is that when they admit they made a mistake, they're gonna say, "Hey, you're right. I didn't see that. My fault." Not him though, and not him. If he knows that he's wrong, he's still gonna be like, "Nah, you know, I'm right and you're wrong." He's still gonna act
Yeah.
like he's superior, and so like that's why I don't know how long he's been around. Let me see how long Scott Scott Foster been a ref. He's been a ref for 25 seasons. So he's been around for a long time. Yeah, he's been around for a long
Damn.
time. Yeah, he still officiates pretty bad. I guarantee you, if you take a poll right now in terms of who's the most hated refs, Scott Foster is
At
up
least
there.
top three.
Yeah, he's top three for sure. So not a lot of people like him. So yeah, it's for sure. It's for sure crazy. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's yeah. Yeah, it was like this, bro, like this, man. So when Scott Foster, so this was like in September in the bubble. This was before Game 7 of OKC versus the Rockets. When Scott Foster was officiating their games with both Chris Paul and James Harden, they both had a losing streak of 7 to 8 games, pretty much. So every time Scott Foster ref the game that involved Chris Paul and James Harden, they don't win. And
Bro, I
that's
swear
that.
they did not like us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like he was against the Rockets for a long time. So he, yeah. Uh, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There ain't much going on, honestly. It's just
Yeah.
the excitement of the fact that like we can't we actually have to watch games now, man. Because at this point in the going into the playoffs, you don't really watch any games at this point. You probably watch a couple games. Man, you got every game is a crucial game for standings
Hmm.
and for play-ins. Like, man, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, I cannot emphasize this enough. The Heat versus the Celtics, Knicks versus Clippers, two big games for both the Knicks, the Celtics, and the Heat involved. Those are big games for those three teams. So we'll see what happens,
Yeah.
man. But it is gonna get to it. And then this time next week, we're gonna head into the play-in tournament on Tuesday, and we'll have an idea of who's gonna be because the last slate of games comes on Sunday. The last slate of games comes on Sunday, May 16th. So we'll see who was it. But hey, it's exciting. Not gonna lie, it's exciting because at this point of the season, it's yeah. Let me see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's gonna be 15 games on the slate
15.
for Sunday. Yeah, for Sunday of next week. There's gonna be
Wow.
16 games. No, 15 games. Sorry, 15 games. All big games. The Grizzlies and the Warriors are gonna play. That's a big game right there too. Obviously, Charlotte and Washington. That's a big game too, considering with Charlotte and seeding. Hey, man, this shit about to go down to the wire.
Man.
It's about to be
Like
real,
you
real
really do
exciting.
not want to miss any of these games.
Yeah, it's crazy games, man. Like from here on out, and it's been like that since the past couple weeks, but especially now getting into the play-in, and then the
Hmm.
playoffs start on Friday, I think. No, the playoffs start on Saturday. Sorry, they start on Saturday. So,
Sheesh.
it-
So it's gonna happen
oh,
quick.
it's going down. It's going down. Gonna have all the coverage on. Hey, that's pretty much it. Hey, tune into these games because it's getting down to the
Yeah.
wire. It's getting crazy and crazy. So, kind of gonna be watching that Heat and Celtics game tomorrow, man. Gonna be a very interesting game. Gonna be a
Yeah, for
very
sure.
interesting game. Then the Knicks got a big one against the Clippers, and I guarantee you they don't want to drop their third one in a row. They've already gotten beat by the Nuggets and the Suns. I don't think they want to get beat by the Clippers, so hopefully they get a win tomorrow. But hey, that's pretty much it. You got anything else, man?
Nah, I got nothing, bro.
Bro, this thing is crazy. This is crazy, bro. It's getting crazy. It's getting crazy. All right, we'll check out each other next week.